Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Well, as you probably gathered, it's Halloween. Yeah, it's October the 25th, 2025, or 3311 if you want to look at it at game time, and the Halloween event has just dropped. We've got a Mandalay, all embellished with the Spectrix job. We've got some Halloween themed colours, and when the helmet goes on, it'll be a Halloween themed helmet, and we're going to go through the walkthrough of this year's 2025 Elite Dangerous Halloween event. Let's get cracking then. Well, here we have it. It's October the 29th, 3311, and the Halloween event is here. We've got a message here in our inbox from Will Jessup. Macabre and Monsters special. Here we go. What's it all about? Halloween again? It certainly is. It's me, your blood-soaked host, Will Jessup, about to dig into yet another true tale from the darkest reaches of space. I'm going searching for one of the most depraved set of spacers to have ever inhabited the edges of the bubble, the Colgraves. Follow me as I uncover the crimes of this crazy family, and maybe we'll even get lucky and locate them. Now, wouldn't that be something? Come find me at Hertzberg Terminal in the Saragir system and join the hunt. Now, this will go on until November the 3rd, 2025, or 3311, at which point all the markers will remain in the game. However, you won't get any rewards. So, time to get cracking then. Why not? So if you've been watching so far and you want to do the Halloween event yourself and not have any spoilers, this is your spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I am going to be going through this step by step and recording it. So if you want to do it yourself, there's no harm, no foul. At this point, I thank you for watching, and you can sign off. However, if you want to follow us, then hang around. So, off to the Saragir system then. Into the galaxy map, here we go. Saragir, that's the one. Ooh, it's all the way over there. It'll take us a while. I'll let you know when we get in system. Now, what normally happens on these type of events is that you follow a series of beacons that give you a code that you have to decipher. And this is no different. It really isn't. So, it's all good stuff. There are a number of tools out there, namely one on the Canon website, which will feature heavily in this video as well. And we're going to go through, we're going to decode all the messages, and at the end, there's a couple of paint jobs that you have as rewards, and about 40 million credits. Now, it's all a good bit of in-game fun, and I do these every year. And I'd encourage every commander to do that, because you also get an on-foot suit customization too. Now, as soon as you drop in the Saragir system, you can see by Hertzsprung Terminal, there's a communication beacon. We're going to head over that, give it a good scan in. So here we are coming up on the communication beacon, just by Hertzsprung Terminal. You can drive there. I say drive there, fly there, you know what I mean. And here it is. So the idea of this is, if we give it a good scanning, it gives us the next piece of the puzzle.
Safe travels, Commander.
Providing I don't crash into the thing. Okay, here we go then. Here's the listening post. We're giving it a good scanning here. Just select it. That's the thing. It's taking its sweet time about it. Here's the message in our inbox. Okay. Communication beacon. Macabre and Monsters. Okay, number 1. Welcome back to another grim episode of Macabre and Monsters. Will Jessup here, bringing you another wretched tale from the black heart of the void. Today we're cracking open a case from one of the nastiest legends to emerge from the frontier. The Colgrave family. For decades, this bunch of deviants have been described as so depraved they make the Phagos clan look tame. I can't even imagine how sick you need to be to qualify for this, but this family did it. I know, it sounds like a tall tale told over bootleg century megagin in a backwater outpost, but this story refuses to die, unlike the poor colonists who ran into them over the years. Sorry, that was a joke. A little too dark. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, you ghouls and goblins out there. So, there you go. But where is the Colgrave family today? What happened to them? Well, strap yourselves in. I've got a hot and fresh lead on their last known location. We're going cannibal hunting. So the Colgraves were cannibals. And because I'm such a generous host, we'll be taking a tour of the systems the Colgraves built their notoriety in. I'm locked on a grisly trail and you can come along for the ride. And my next stop is, and it gives a string of numbers. 67, 104, 117, 107, 117, 110. This is where the story begins. Now, that's ASCII all day long, that is. So we're going to pop over to Canon, where they've got an ASCII decoder. But there are plenty of these on the internet. So here we are. This is the Canon decryptor. And typing in Canon Research or Canon with 2 N's decryptor into your web browser of choice should bring this up. If not, I'll stick a link in the comments section. You put in at the top the input, your ASCII code. You make sure shift is set to 0 and you can see it's come up with a Chukun system, which will be the next place we go on our trail of the Colgrave family. It's as easy as that, really. So in this system, everybody, there is a compromised nav beacon. Always worthwhile getting in there and giving that a good scan. Now, it's compromised. It could get a little bit spicy. So the ship you're going to be using needs to have a little bit of offensive weaponry. Not necessarily, but it's probably being prudent to have one. Also, what you're going to need with this, if you haven't already got one, and there's the option to get one here, is also pick up an SRV and an SRV bay. A quick scan of that compromised nav beacon is going to reveal all the details of this particular system, the Chukun system. So once we've got that, saves an awful lot of messing about, really. Now, as you can see, communication beacon, here it is. There's the communication beacon. It's on planet 1. We have a quick look at the system map. Here we go. Planet 1. There you go. So you've got a couple of other options here as well. We've got some nice settlements. So, Chukun 1. We're going to get ourselves over there and see what we can find. Get ourselves planet side now. And here we are, everybody. We're on a little plateau on planet 1. And on that planet, there's a communication beacon. Now, it's quite easy to find. It shows up in your left-hand panel. But there it is. At this point, this is where you get out into your SRV, have a bit of a trundle around, and scan it up. So here we are. We got our settlement comms link. Just going to give a bit of a scanning with our data link scanner. There you go. And we've got another message. There we go. Macabre and Monsters 2. Alright then, we made it. So the legend goes that the Colgraves were just another large family here in Beneford's inheritance. Ma and Pa Colgrave, 3 kids, 5 cousins and 2 grandparents, no doubt all related. That's some brood. Enough to eat a colony out of house and home. Or just a colony. Tales about the Fagus Dredger are bad enough. Just tens of thousands of isolated spaces who like nothing better than terrorising the fringes of the bubble. Out here, you can only imagine what the deepest, darkest, loneliest reaches of inhabited space could do to a person. I mean, poor sap called Hal Coulthard famously cashed in his ticket running into the Fagus has never heard of again. People whisper that he ended up being the entree for that evening's dinner, but what really happened is anyone's guess. But the Colgraves, man, they were something else. Every one of them was well fed on, well, you get the picture. Pa used to work in a meat processing factory. His supervisor once made an entry that they'd never seen anyone take as much delight in their work. Sounds like the ideal employee. Well, he was fired for repeat violations of safety codes. Meanwhile, Ma looked after the brood. Records showed she kept to herself, but used to play loud classical music during the day, with neighbours making complaints all the time. Those complaints didn't go on very long. The kids were homeschooled and were constantly getting into fights in their apartment block. I intend to find them. This is going to be my magnus opus, if I do. Myth chasers will remember the name. Will Jessup. Not dismember, I hope. Anyway, onwards, and we've got another code of 90 105 32 89 105 110 101 115 for the next instalment. So back over to Canon then. So here we are in the Canon decryptor for the Macabre and Monsters Special 2 entry. Put in the input straight in there, and it came up with the system of Yines. Okay, so that's not to worry. What we can do now is pop back into the game and see where that is. Here we are back in the cosy comfort of our ship. So where indeed is Yines? Okay, not too far away, only 38 light years. 'Tis but a jump in the old goblin juice Mandy. Let's take off and get on with the rest of this quest. Once again, the Yines system comes with a nav beacon, but when entering the system, honking the old Discovery scanner horn, you can see that there is a comms beacon just by Gerstein Vision, and that's about 660 light seconds in from the jump-in point. We're going to head on over there and scan it up. The Yines beacon, and it's in flying distance of the station as well. Getting in there, selecting it, gets the listening post scanning on the go, and we then get our next clue. Okay then, where are we? This is clue number 3, Macabre and Monsters. Here we go. What's he got to say for himself? I'm here in Yines. Ugly place, stupid name. Well, I can't argue with that. They say this is where the Colgraves got their first taste for murder, and human flesh too. No one knows why they turned to this particular craving, but in time-honoured tradition, many other monsters of the past started out practicing their art on lesser things. Pa Colgrave went from dicing up meat in a factory to serving up pilots. Nice. The story goes that he came home with fresh meat for Ma to cook without saying anything about what it really was. Every one of the family chowed down that night on cargo pilot stew. We don't actually know his name was Stew, but I think it might have been, what they cooked. And this is where the first of the Colgrave's alleged victims were found, floating in space in their escape pod. Tomb, more like. They said the body looked altered, cut open, parts missing, different parts stuffed where they ain't supposed to be, sort of thing. Anyway, system authorities stamped it as piracy, but the locals swore otherwise. And let's face it, they believe them. This is what drives me to do what I do. I must know the truths behind the legends. They can't all be born as monsters, can they? As I sit here staring at the dead space in front of me, I can't shake the feeling that the Colgraves wanted us to find that corpse. Like it was a message or calling card. I forget the victim's name, but ain't nobody gonna forget mine when this is over. So he says. He's hot on the trail of another clue and bunch of victims. Follow me if you dare. Again, another list of numbers where we'll scare ourselves some more learning about another victim, chased by some crazy cannibal factory. And again, into canon research. Typing in those numbers gives us the Dumni system, which isn't too far away from where we are. I know this system, I've been there before. And we expect to find yet another beacon. So here we are in the Dumni system. And of course there's a comms beacon here, which is awfully convenient of them. And when scanning this nav beacon here, right, the comms beacon is going to pop up orbiting body 3C. And that's all fine with me. All the way down here. Where is it? 2A, 2B, all the way down to the bottom. 3B, 3C. And this is where we are. There's our comms beacon. Quite a busy old system, this. But not to worry. Let's get ourselves over there. Give it a good scanning again.
Frameshift drive.
And here we are with the comms beacon in the Dumni system. Again, giving it a good old scan and a good look around is going to reveal another message. And there it is in our inbox. Clue number 4 for Macabre and Monsters. Imagine just being out here all alone, minding your own business, mining for ore, then pow, out of the black comes a flotilla of messed up ships who surround you, board you, and then have you for lunch. Yep, that is, I reckon, what happened to Fred Hull. Unfortunately, we all have to go on. Here is a garbled log that cut off halfway through. But his peers think the Colgraves did it. Bit of cannibalism there, not so ever. People keep asking why I do this. Will, why'd you do this? Why chase after nightmares instead of just reporting traffic violations? It's a good point, really. In some backwater system nobody visits. Easy. History doesn't remember the victims, only the monsters. And people that catch them. So it's all a play for fame here. I mean, who remembers anything about poor Fred? Nobody, that's who, but they'll all remember when the Colgraves paid a visit and left behind nothing but the remnants of their victim stuffed in a vintage Intrepid helmet. Probably just used as a human soup bowl. Nasty. If I can prove the Colgraves are real, then I'm not just telling a story. I am the story, and that's what drives me. I'll be a household name. So he's chasing the fame here, right? With cannibals. Dangerous stuff, dude. Dangerous stuff. Anyway, the galaxy loves a ghost story, but they love the people that bust them even more. So he says. And there's another string of numbers, hence coordinates. And it signs off. Will Jessup. So once again, we got to decrypt the numbers of 66, 114, 105, 103, 117, 97, and 108. By now you know the scores on the doors. Putting in the number, making sure shift is set to 0, and it comes up with the system for us. Brigal. Or Brigal. Now, that's normally going to be in the vicinity. The last one was about 63 light years away from where we were. I don't expect this is going to be too far myself. And here we are in the Brigal system. Scanning up the nav beacon. Once we've got that, we can see all the way down here by body 5 that's where we're going to find what we're looking for. Getting into the system scanner as well, of course you've already scanned the nav beacon. You can see there's curious ship debris here as well. Getting yourself all the way over there. Just in case people are wondering how I'm finding this stuff. So here we are at the curious ship debris. And as we're here, we can get a little bit closer. We can see what's knocking about. We've got our lights on. Put that on as well. There's been a good old battle here and the remnants of a ship. Now this is all very good. As you go towards the main point, you can see there's a point of interest there, the ship's log, and you can scan that when you get close enough with your data link scanner. Getting nice and close, but 150, certainly less than 200.
Scan detected.
And you'll get clue number 5. Hello, is this thing on? This is, okay, a bit weird. My sensors are picking up echoes as if I'm being pinged by another ship. But there's nothing out there. Lights flickered a moment ago too, like my systems are being messed with. And my comms just played static, that sounded. Well, a weird slurping sound. Very funny, whoever you are. The Colgraves are watching. Enjoy the show, weirdos. Just remember, I'm watching you right back, and I'm getting closer to the truth. Subscribe to the channel too. From what he can gather from sources, there's been sightings of multiple ships in this area, all decked out like raiders. One pilot claimed they saw skulls impaled on the spikes. I'm not sure I like the sound of that ending up as a Colgrave trophy. Hopefully this won't be my last investigation. And it says, okay, time to close in on the Colgraves. And it gives another list of numbers. Well, you've guessed it from now on. It's all going to be about getting to the final destination. There are 6 clues in this quest. Let's see what he finds. So, a good old wreckage, a little bit different from going and scanning like a beacon on a planet or a listening post. There should be more, I think, of this sort of atmospheric things. Especially, why aren't you being mugged off right now by raiders? Strange, isn't it? Well, you guessed it, into the cannon decoder, typing in the numbers. Jabaja. Can't be too far away. And this should come to an end. Here we are again then, in the Jabaja system. A quick honk of the horn pulled up curious ship debris straight away. It's not too far away. We can go and take a look.
Fuel scoping.
Take on a little bit of fuel. We haven't used a hell of a lot of fuel anyway.
Fuel scope disengaged.
We don't want to overshoot and do a bit of a victory lap there, do we? There you go. There's the curious ship debris straight away. And again, I suspect we'll be giving it a good old scan. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's just by body 1 then. This is interesting. Let's just zoom around. Of course, you can also do a bit of scanning of the planets as well, should you want to. Maximize all that exploration data.
Surface scan complete.
And then on to the curious ship debris. And here we are on a very quick approach to the debris. And here it is. It's hardly what you call a lot of debris. There's not much sort of like left here, is there? Here's our ship log, uplink. They haven't left an awful lot for us to have a look at. But there it is.
Scan detected.
Oh, I'm being scanned by something. What have we got? Macabre and Monsters 6. This is Will Jessup and this is Macabre and Monsters. I think I found them, or they found me. Multiple ships, no IDs, all with raider kits. Some of them, they look stained with something, maybe a trick of the light. They're closing fast. My systems, damn it, everything's redlining and going haywire. Engines are dead. They're on me. So there's a panicked breathing now. They're still broadcasting though. What matters, right? If this is the end, at least you all hear it, and I'll be remembered like those other chumps. Not like those other chumps. My name is Will Jessup. This is Macabre and Monsters, and this is the Colgrave family coming to say hello. Then you got grinding metallic noises. He's being boarded. There's shots fired, screams and laughter, and someone has said, "We'll be well fed tonight, pa." So obviously they've gone in and mugged him off. And there you have it. Cool stuff, eh? Cool stuff. And that's the end of that, everybody. So there you have it, Halloween event 2025 or 3311 with the Cosgrave family, or Colgrave family I should say. A bunch of people, space cannibals, mugging people off, and even the guy here who had his own little channel, Macabre and Monsters. Did you enjoy it? It was okay. It really was. Not so bad, I don't think. Anyway, the Halloween event was going to be running until November the 3rd, although the beacons will still remain in game, but there'll be no rewards after that point. I've been Ricardo. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you found the video useful, and I'll see you soon.